Hi, I'm Pete Revell. I'm a lifelong piano player, born and raised in Chicago, spent a lot of years out on the road, lived in Prescott, Arizona for approximately 10 years, and about 4 to 5 years ago, somewhere in that area, we moved back to the area here because we have children and grandchildren up in the Stevens Point area, so that's got me out of Prescott, Arizona. And when I came here, I had spent my life playing, and I thought I was kind of through playing the piano, but one day I went down to the Cultural Center, which is located just outside downtown Wisconsin Rapids, and I walked in, met a lady named Sylvia Becker who runs the Cultural Center, and she introduced me to a couple of fellas, namely Earl Garber, Cecil Livington, and Francis, they call him Kubisiak. And we kind of got to talking, found out that they were 3 old musicians, guys that used to play, and I said, why don't we get together, play a little music? Really, the thing that I love the most about it is they have a wonderful piano. It's a grand piano there, and I didn't have to move equipment. I said, well, come on, why don't we just do it? It'd be kind of fun. So we started playing, and this was now, I'm thinking probably close to 3 years, if not already. We meet every Tuesday from 1 o'clock until 3, and we just get together, tell stories, play music, and we kind of have fun. And we invite you to come on out. It doesn't cost anything. We've got chairs. You can sit down and kind of hopefully laugh a little bit with us and enjoy the songs that we do play. The type of music we play is, I think it would be fair to call it standards, but with kind of a jazz flair to it. But again, it's done in a fun vein, and we'd love to see you all come out there. So you know, we do call Earl, that's Earl Garber, of course, he's our trumpet player, and we call him the chairman. We have Cecil Liverton again. He's known as the Admiral. Of course, he spent a lot of years in WW2 on a ship. We have Francis Kubisiak, and of course, he's the only eligible one of the 4 of us, of course. And I'm Pete Revell, and they call me the kid. The reason is I'm the youngest, and really, one of the things I want to do before we finish this out at the center is I look around at these guys. I love the guys. They're my buddies now. But I'm trying to decide which one I want to be like when I grow up. So why don't you come on out some Tuesday, any Tuesday. We're always there. And maybe you can help me figure it out. That's music at the Cultural Center. It's every Tuesday from 1 to 3. And we'll do something just for you. I am Pete Revell, and I want to now introduce you to the rest of the fellas. It's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, whatever and a day. Time will go, but oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we'll go a long, 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 long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar will tumble. They're only made of clay. love to tumble. They're only made of clay, but our love is here too. Our love is here too. Our love, it's here to stay.
I'm Earl Garber. I was born in 1928, and I'll leave the numbers to you. About 3 years ago, the director of the Cultural Center called me and asked me to come over to meet a gentleman that fell in love with our Yamaha piano. And because I'm a graduate of DePaul University in Chicago, and he came from the south side of Chicago, we've had a friendship for 3 years. And at that moment, I called Francis Kubishak and Cecil Leverton and said, hey guys, we haven't played together for so many years, but we've got a chance now with a real Liberace. And that brought Four on the Floor into existence. We call it Four on the Floor mainly because we're old timers, and cars that shift are like old timers. We play old songs that go back to the early 1900s. Kubishak loves to sing. He worked many years with the Castilians. I started out with the Castilians in high school. So there was a friendship that had developed over an entire lifetime. And so now Four on the Floor is its third year. Our Cultural Center is in its 13th year, and we're looking for opportunities to bring more and more age groups into the center for education and art, writing, music, sculpture, whatever classes we can develop or they can develop for the community. I double on trumpet and flugelhorn, which is the only difference between the two is the sound that comes out. But it gives us a little variety because the quartet isn't that flexible. It's not like having a full orchestra where you have strings and percussion, keyboard. Pete fills in. Pete was an entertainer at the Playboy Club in Lake Delton. And he really came with a lot of professional background, where my background was limited to a few years while I was in college and one tour through the country before I decided to come back to work for the family business.
Hi there, my name is Francis Kubishak, Kubi, everybody knows me as, and I'm a member of Four on the Floor. I'm the drummer. Some people would call me a percussionist, but I'm not really a percussionist. I started out playing drums in grade school, and I went all the way through high school playing the drums, and when I got out of school, I hit the road with a couple of different bands, which wasn't that much fun doing road work, so I didn't stick with that too long. And of course, then I had my military service of 3 years, and took care of that. And when I came back home, I bummed around, finally settled down in the music business here in town at the old Speltz Music Company, and for a number of years. And when they closed up, I was out of work, too young to quit, so I had a call from Jerry's Music up in Wausau, Jerry Gage. And Jerry says, how would you like to come and work for me a little bit? Okay, so I did. That ended up, it was going to be a 2 or 3 year job, and it ended up being 15. But I enjoyed every minute of it. Probably one of the best jobs I ever had. So then of course, I played with the old Castilians band for like 40 years, and we were a 4-piece group. We had many, many different instrumentalists, but the same old bass player and piano player and drummer, you know, typical. And so then I kind of gave it up after a while, and one day I got a phone call from Earl Garber. He said, this piano player just moved into town. He fell in love with that piano down the Cultural Center, and he'd like to get a little quartet or something going. Would you be interested? I said, well, we can give it a try. I don't have any drums, but I can borrow some from my son-in-law. Okay, so I borrowed a snare drum, a hi-hat, and a pair of brushes. And I said, this is all I'm ever going to use. Wonderful, wonderful, he said. So that was 3 years ago, I guess, and we're still going, and it's a lot of fun. I had a doctor's appointment this morning. He said, what do you do for exercise? And I said, I play drums once a week in a quartet down Culture Center in Wisconsin Rapids.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue for me and for you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see clouds of white and skies of blue. The bright blessed day is for me and it's for you, and I say to
Yeah, I'm Cecil Leverton, and I have played the string bass since high school, and then I got into the harmonica playing, which was kind of accidental. Didn't really know what I was doing. Still don't know what I'm doing, but I get away with it. I probably played bass in high school, and well, let's see, I got into the Navy, but I didn't play any music. Well, then I got out of the Navy and kind of looking for a little extra work, something to make a little money. And in those days, it was very little money. We had a union minimum of $8. I did get a little more for 4 hours of playing in bands. Now they call them big bands. In those days, it was just a band. So I did that for some years, kind of got out of for a couple of years. And then Joe Liska was the orchestra teacher at Lincoln High School in my day. And he was in the Marshfield Wood County Symphony. And he asked if I and Don Gash and I used to play bass in high school, asked if we'd want to play in the Marshfield Symphony. Well, it's been 20 years since I had played that kind of music, classical, and I thought, well, it was kind of a foolish thing to do, but I got away with it. I went up. It took me a whole concert to figure out how to play anymore. It just looked like a lot of black spots on the sheet music. Finally, it kind of came around to me, and then I ended up playing up there for 32, 33 years. I got tired of driving up there, and finally I just quit. I retired. I've even got a retirement book or something from the place. I kind of look back at that, wish I could play classical music right now. So I play with these four on the floor guys, and it isn't quite classical, that's for sure. But it's entertaining, and I don't read music for that, and I get away with it. And then I ended up, I said, well, you want me to play a harmonica? And well, yeah. Well, I guess they think it's all right. They tell me to do it over again. Maybe they just got trying to fill in space. I'm not sure. I don't know. People say it's all right, but I sometimes wonder. I listen to real harmonica players, and I think, what am I doing this? But so anyway, that's about it. Lived in Rapids almost, except for when I was in the service. And that's about the story of my life. At least musical life.